Hello fellow misfortunates. In this video you will learn about the strategies a Challenger Samira player uses to unlock Samira's full potential in a high-stakes ranked game. We are watching a Challenger player from the EU West server here, and if you want to check out their profile, you can find the link in the video description down below. Please note that this video is most useful to intermediate and advanced Samira players. If you only just picked up the champion and need help with Samira's basic combos and trading patterns, I recommend that you first watch the Samira guide in my 5-minute series. Anyway, Samira is an AD carry that heavily relies on support synergies to be effective. The only suitable playstyle for this champion is hard engage and all in, and she especially benefits from having a lane partner with a knock-up spell to combo with her passive. Our Challenger player picked Samira with a Pyke support, who of course meets all the aforementioned criteria, which means they have a lot of kill pressure in this lane right away. The opposing Ziggs and Rakan need to be very careful, and unless they can land so much poke damage that Samira wouldn't be able to safely dash into melee range anymore, they have to concede lane priority. See how much damage Rakan takes from a single misstep, which leads into a Samira knock-up combo. Had they not been so close to their tower, Samira could have even dashed forward and killed them. By the way, if you need to play against an unconventional mage bot lane pick in one of your games, make sure you do it like our Challenger player here and bring your magic resist chart. The only reason why mages seem so strong in the bot lane is that people regularly forget to adjust their rune page for the matchup. It makes a big difference. Anyway, the reason why Samira and Pyke are being so aggressive here is that they know their jungler is on bot side and can rotate towards them. However, going all in like this without setting up vision in the river is still a mistake, and Pyke pays the price for it. Yet look what Samira can do with a fully stacked Conqueror despite being outnumbered 2 versus 3. She actually managed to trade 2 for 1 in her favor, ultimately setting up Lee Sin for the 1 versus 1 cleanup. Now, what worked despite being outnumbered obviously works even better when you catch the enemy out of position. Ziggs got way too greedy here, trying to push the wave into the tower for a minion reset, but Pyke and Samira are quick to punish. Especially in early and mid-game skirmishes, the extra movement speed Samira gets from her passive gives her a lot of agency and playmaking potential. She can just keep going and run people down with her Conqueror stacks. Especially on a champion like Samira, those few early kills will go a long way, as the enemy's chance to beat a strong all-in combo with item disadvantage is virtually zero. All they can do at this point is to sit under tower and try their hardest not to give Samira an opportunity to tower dive. Consequentially, they need to concede minions and plating goals to Samira, but this is still better for them than to die and lose the minions regardless. Having infinite bot lane priority also means that the enemy bot lane can never contest anything in the river. So in order to snowball a lead like this even harder, your jungler should take all the dragons as soon as possible. Spam assist ping on the dragon pit if you need to when the junglers in your solo queue games don't realize this. Anyway, from this position it is only a matter of time before you take the first bot lane tower. Entering the mid game, your playstyle doesn't change all that much. The fights get riskier for you as more damage and crowd control spells are flying around, but the more items you have already purchased, the more daringly you can afford to play. In this fight, it looks like Samira is just dashing in recklessly and getting random kills, but the crucial takeaway here is that she never dashes in first. Samira actually doesn't engage here at all, and she wouldn't do it well, by the way. In fact, she serves as follow-up engage to her allies' initial engage. This means despite being fed, you are still heavily team reliant. If you however only go in after your allies find an opening, you will be pretty much untouchable. Especially during the cleanup phase of a teamfight, you can pretty much do whatever you want and get away with it, since the enemy won't have enough resources anymore to stop you from drain tanking everything. All this gets enabled by your rune page and item build, in which you effectively stack all the healing and lifesteal available to you on top of each other. Keep in mind though, when facing off against tanks, you will need to forego either Bloodthirster or Guardian Angel in favor of Lord Dominic's regards. Anyway, because Samira is so incredibly team reliant, staying in a central position on the map close to your allies is absolutely crucial in the mid game. Therefore, staying in the mid lane and repeatedly pushing the wave past river is the correct play, despite the fact that Tryndamere is uncontestedly pushing huge minion waves down the top lane. If Samira goes there to collect the farm, she would not be with her team and the enemy could find an engage, since Samira wouldn't be close enough to pop off on them. Additionally, Tryndamere would simply kill her in a 1 versus 1 under her tower. Even if Malphite wouldn't realize what's happening and start to contest the lane, you should still never go there regardless. It's simply not your job, and acting like it would be is outright game losing. For Samira, it is better to get caught in the middle of her team than to not be with her team altogether. Because chances are your mobility buys your teammates enough time to have your back, and then you can follow up and have theirs. Obviously, this is not Silver but a Challenger game, so after winning a teamfight, Samira and her allies instinctively look for objectives they can now take for free while the enemy is dead. They end up claiming a dragon, a mid lane tower, the enemy's jungle camps, and the subscribe button. Now that 2 mid lane towers have fallen, the game becomes incredibly difficult to play for the enemy. This is because mid lane towers are crucial sources of vision as they illuminate both bot side and top side jungle entrances. Without that knowledge, the enemy team has no chance to react to rotations in time. On top of that, minions are now constantly running at their inhibitor tower, giving Samira's team additional vision control for free. If they aren't able to take Samira's mid lane towers fast in return, the entire jungle will fall into the blue team's hand. This includes barons and dragons, of course. Wait, she got chain CC'd and exhausted under the enemy tower. This is not okay. She should not be getting away with this. Dashes forward into 3 people under tower by herself while still being exhausted. Seriously? This is not supposed to work at all. No chance she gets away. Okay, she doesn't. At the very least. Quick side note, while plays like these are nice to limit test and stroke your ego a little bit, casually feeding 1000 gold to the enemy Tryndamere is potentially game losing. Even after picking up a triple kill in the process. It is not worth it, and you should protect your shutdown gold as best as you can. It is a comeback mechanic for a reason. Well, now in the late game, Samira's team should use their superior jungle control to force the enemy under the inhibitor towers and then take Baron for free. Except they don't. They blindly try to rush Baron while allowing the enemy to freely attack their nearby mid lane tower. The enemy ends up rotating towards the Baron pit, and had Viego been a little bit more adamant, it would have come down to a dangerous smite 50-50, which the blue team could have easily avoided by means of playing the macro game correctly. This was a completely unnecessary risk and certainly a point at which Samira's team could have thrown the game out of the window. However, the situation nicely illustrates that even Challenger players are by no means playing the game flawlessly, and that human error will always be a factor you need to consider in this game. Comebacks happen all the time in solo queue, and they are made possible by misplays like these. Samira's team still gets punished here as they lose the dragon right afterwards for having made that huge macro mistake, and Tryndamere carries the subsequent teamfight with that shutdown gold given to him by Samira earlier. Anyway, blue team is still ahead, and sequencing their engage correctly again, Samira is able to get yet another beautiful follow-up on Malphite's ultimate. This finally allows Samira's team to break open the enemy's base and take down the first inhibitor. Afterwards, we have one last teamfight, which is really just a distraction so LeBlanc can end the game. It is truly a lose-lose situation, because if they react to LeBlanc's backdoor attempt, Samira and her allies take down the bot lane inhibitor too, while LeBlanc escapes with her W. Blue team's macro becomes pretty much textbook here, and there's nothing the red team can do as their nexus ultimately gets destroyed. If you feel that educational videos like this one are helpful to you, you can get even more by clicking the link on your screen right there.